Hey guys, before we get into this video, I want to give a little announcement on two things. One on me, because if you all noticed, I've not been uploading in like maybe a week or two. Reason being because I was sick and I also lost my voice. If I still sound bad, just keep in mind that I'm getting my voice back. So just want to let you know that. And also, if you notice the channel name Northeast, it's because I hired a guy to do All Sports Pass Podcast West. You can see that channel. I'll leave a link in the description, or I'll post it in community for that channel if y'all want to go check it out. All right, let's get back to the video. Hey guys, welcome to the All Sports Pass Podcast Northeast. I'm your host, Ex-NASCAR Eagle X, and today I'm going to be doing the Gibbs football season in review. Before we get into this video, if you like it, give it a like and subscribe. Without further ado, let's begin. So for Gibbs, they went 9-3 overall in the season, and of course went 4-1 in the district, and they made it to the second round of the playoffs as well. So I think it was a pretty good season. Heading into the season, not many people were expecting Gibbs to really do like, as well as they did this year. Because, they, some notable graduates from last year were Bryson Palmer, Bryson Walker, and Will Weaver, Dre Brooks, Bryson Allen, and so much more. These guys, they led the team to an impressive record last year of 7-5, and this team managed to exceed expectations by going 9-3. First game of the season was against Union County. Union County, I'm not really going to talk much about because, Union County is a team that hadn't really had much competition. That's not really been competitive all season. Like, they've really been a weaker team, you could say. And they went up to Union County week 1 and won 56-6. And then the next week, it was the rivalry. It was a big rivalry game against Halls. And the first game at Ernest White Stadium in 2 years. And unfortunately, that game was a loss. It was 24-13 loss. And they also made some changes. Because during this game, they started Chase Norman at quarterback. And they made some changes the next game at Carnes, where they put in former Halls quarterback Maddox Brackfield. And Brackfield, he did pretty great against Carnes, of course, winning 49-20. Which was, of course, back home at Ernest Whited for the second week in a row. Then they went to Seymour. And I also have to mention Carnes and Seymour have not been strong, you could say. Like, of course, Carnes went 1-9 to finish the season, and Seymour went 0-10. Seymour, that game was won 48-0. At Seymour. And then, of course, it was back home again at South Dole, where they won by a score of 55-13. And also, I have to say, if you've seen some of the interviews on the channel and you notice the black jerseys, this is the game where they debuted the black jerseys. Those things were awesome, in my opinion. Like I have to say, I have a diecast car here, actually, that I would show you, but unfortunately, this isn't really a NASCAR-related video, and besides, it was just, because, hey, I don't want to risk getting copyrighted by some logos on here. But however, that game was awesome, and, of course, they blacked out the Cherokees 55-13. Then they played away at Campbell County the next game and won by a score of 56-28. And this is also the game that Boone Brockwell stood alone in the Gibbs High School record book for the most touchdowns in a game with 6. You heard me right. 6. And, man, Boone's been dominant this season. And, of course, many of these guys, like at this point, we're making the doubters believe. Of course, at this point, they were 6. I'm sorry, 5-1 on the season. And then, of course, then they play Carter the next week. And that game was a pretty great game, in my opinion. They won by a score of 34-21. And, of course, let's just say that it was like a really good, like pretty close game. Great defensive stops. You had good offensive plays. And that's really, in my opinion. And then they played away at Morristown East. In this game, really, Morristown East finished 0-10 this season. But they were actually tougher to beat than what Gibbs thought. And in my opinion, I thought they were going to blow out Morristown East, but I have to give it to Morristown East. They played great, holding that loss to only 7 points. And then, of course, the next week they go to Anderson County. And Anderson County looked like they were a bit of a weaker team this year. They started out 0-3. And then, of course, people thought this was going to be a close game. And unfortunately, it wasn't. Gibbs was defeated 55-6 by Anderson County. However, next week, it was senior night, and they played against the Falcons of Fulton at Gibbs. And they also made history this game. With this win of 59-30, Gibbs defeated Fulton for the first time since 2000. Man, I could say that, I was ever probably a part of history. And then, of course, that game would also decide who Gibbs would play and where they would play. Like Fulton, of course, in this game, they needed to beat Gibbs and a Seymour win, which, of course, did not happen. Then, of course, Gibbs was going to play the winner of the Northview Sullivan East game. And Northview won that game. And let's just say, I'm going to call the Northview game 21-3. Because Northview was up 21-3 heading into halftime. Then in the third quarter, when it looked like Northview, Wyatt West got Gibbs a touchdown to make it 21-10. And when, of course, Northview was at the 4-yard line, was at the Gibbs 4-yard line. And when it looked like Northview was gonna send Gibbs home early and win their first playoff game in school history, the unthinkable happened. Brady Hughes stripped the ball and ran 96 yards for a strip 6. And then they converted a 2-point conversion. And, I forgot to mention, at the Fulton game, we also had a new quarterback coming from Alabama by the name of Warren Axton. Warren is really good from what I've seen. They started him a little bit during the Fulton game. And then, of course, before starting him in the Northview game, Warren pretty much, he helped lead this team back. And, of course, and back to Northview. Northview, of course, went to overtime because Gibbs tied the score at 21-21. And then they went for the win, but that kick attempt was blocked. So it went to overtime. Northview got possession first. And then and they got the touchdown. And then Brady Hughes, the man of the night, blocked the kick. And then only thing Gibbs had to do was score and hit the extra point. And Boone Brockwell, one of the leaders of the Gibbs season, got it in. And this time, kicker Benji Angola did not miss, giving Gibbs a 28-27 win in what I'd like to call a 2017 Patriots versus Falcons Super Bowl type of game. And then, of course, they went to Greenville, and unfortunately the season ended here. They had a great season, and unfortunately they lost 42-0. But they shouldn't have, in my opinion, Gibbs did not need to have their heads down because, they had a great season. Like, they defied expectations. Heck, there are people who thought Gibbs was not going to win more than 3 or 4 games this season. And to end up going 9-3 and making it to the second round of the playoffs, let's just say that's pretty impressive. And for Gibbs, congratulations on your 9-3 season. You all earned it. All right, that's all I got for you guys tonight. If you like this video, give it a like, subscribe, and I'll talk to y'all next time. Peace out.